Hello and welcome to Shirt Shop, on this series in which myself and a guest go shopping around classic football shirts. They get a £500 budget. Classic football shirts have a permanent store in London and in Manchester. And there's also tens of thousands of items online. And if you use the code AwayDays at checkout, you save 10% on every item from £1 through to £10,000. We're also now doing a very special episode to celebrate Euro 2024. Classic football shirts have a pop-up store here in Berlin. And I thought, what better to do than get one of the best number 10s of all time to join us on Shirt Shopping. Welcome to Shirt Shopping, Clarence Seedorf. How are you doing?
Very good.
Welcome. I'm very, very good.
Thanks, sir.
This is football shirt paradise.
Amazing.
Welcome.
Lots of paradise.
This is very simple. You get £500 to spend. Pick out two, three, four shirts. We chat about your career, and then that's it. Very simple. Should we get into it?
Of course.
Come on. Yeah, we'll talk about Ajax here. Obviously, we need to start at the start of your career. Before we get to that, though, growing up, I'm aware one of your idols was Frank Rijkaard. Was it interesting, though, because you were such a unique player, that you were so elegant, stylish on the ball with dribbling, but you could also hit a ball so hard, which is such a unique way of being a player. So who did you model yourself off of? Because there's not really many players like you before or even now.
Yeah, I always said when I was younger that I don't want to really like nobody else, just really develop myself. But of course, you have been inspired. I had been inspired by many. I mean, Frank Rijkaard was my youth idol. Then they had Torstrasse, and they had all of these guys in the Netherlands that were obviously examples. And then they had the Brazilian players that I followed, from Zico to you know, the past with Pelé as well. And then you just go through the career, and you try to get bits and pieces from everybody, but always trying to be unique in my own way. That was my mindset.
So when you obviously go into the changing room for the first time with someone like Rijkaard and you play with him, was that a weird experience for you, or did you just own it straight away? Did you feel like you belonged?
That was, yeah, you feel like you belong, especially in the system of Ajax, where, you know, going through the youth system and becoming a first team player is pretty much, you know, the philosophy of the club. So
yeah.
The sense of belonging is directly there, and then you live in a dream because you're playing with your idol as well, winning a Champions League together. I mean, what more can one want in the first years of your career?
Yeah, exactly. And talk about winning the first Champions League for you. It must have been, was that obviously you won 4, was that the most special of the wins for you?
Well, the first we can consider generally the most special one, if you need a big one. But then all of them have a different story. The one with Real Madrid was amazing. After so many years, same as it was like more than 30 years in both occasions that the Champions League wasn't won anymore. So that has a huge impact. I think it reopened the cycle for Real Madrid to do what they've been doing ever since. and then of course with AC Milan, another 2 Champions League wins, and they're all particular because they had all really a different story. The season was different. Generally quite complicated seasons.
Yeah.
From a league standpoint. The only one where we really stood out is with Ajax, where we had a triple. I think we won that year.
Speaking about Ajax, am I right in believing you made your first team debut at 16?
Yes.
It was against, is it Groningen? Groningen?
Groningen, yes, it was.
Nice shirt, decent.
Yeah, I think it was the league, and then I had my first debut was in the cup match against I think VVV. Yes, and then the league match was against Groningen. Amazing city.
Yeah, I went to see them earlier this season.
Amazing city because they had one of the best youth tournaments.
Okay.
As well.
In the kit community, Ajax shirts are seen as very, very iconic, very desirable to have. What are your thoughts on these two?
This was my first year. My first year. Yeah, I mean, what to say? I grew up with these shirts, so seeing them now again is good. I haven't seen this one for a long time.
Which one would you prefer? Was basically, remember you get 3 or 4 shirts.
Evolution of
the little, the drawstring.
You know, those times defenders were quite physical.
Yeah.
In the sense. So I think I would go with this one in terms of feeling free, but this was was nice.
Okay.
It had this touch of the past, with the strings and stuff.
Yeah, the strings were a weird touch. I think it's like interesting to see. You never get that these days.
Yeah.
Speaking of modern shirts, I wanted to talk to you about Mexico because you played in a friendly for Ajax against Mexico at the Azteca, which I imagine was just crazy.
That is my favorite stadium of all.
Okay.
Yeah. Azteca, Bernabeu, San Siro. This is my top three. Yeah, I mean, Mexico, there was an amazing experience right before the World Cup. 120,000, all the colors of the flag, the national flag, and beautiful shirt. Mexico is always nice to see.
The Azteca Stadium is one of the stadiums where the fans feel quite close to you as well.
Yeah,
which is always, I guess that's more loud.
It's like the Bernabeu effect.
Yeah.
And this is so long ago, but I remember from the outside, we would come with the bus, and you would see those pillars hitting the rooftop. And then when we were inside, we did a warm-up for I think 20 minutes. There was practically nobody in the stadium, so we said, okay, nobody's coming today. Went in the dressing room, came back, and then full stadium.
Just like that?
10 minutes, 15 minutes, it was filled up, and what an experience.
Mexican football fans are some of the most crazy ever. Sampdoria. You moved on from Ajax to Sampdoria.
Yes.
I think people forget about just how good Sampdoria were in the 80s and 90s. Phenomenal team. And with some phenomenal kits as well. So what was it like when you first got the move?
Beautiful kit, beautiful color, beautiful club. Definitely were at the top in Europe at those times.
Yeah.
We could play the finals, Champions League at a certain point, against Barcelona. Yeah, I mean, great experience. It was really a great year for me to learn what it means to be playing outside of a system that is, the protected system in the Netherlands, and you know everything, and also to adapt to a new country, new lifestyle. Sampdoria was really great learning curve for me, and then after that, of course, I went to Spain. But yeah, I was there lately, and it was really amazing to see the shirts. Of course, now everything is quite straightforward, but now things are more fitted, so it comes out even more.
Yeah, during your career, obviously, kits evolved so much. You've got when you were at Milan, you'd have played in the tech fit shirts. And the really tight shirts. Which did you prefer playing in? The tighter shirts or the baggier?
Well, yes, tighter shirts, yes, because of course it was more difficult for defenders to opponents to grab you.
Okay.
But then there was one that was particularly very tight and was so hard to get out.
Yeah, especially if you're sweated right after a game of exercise.
No, there was one with like a net on the inside or the outside, and that was just a drama to get out of it. But generally, the one that has a bit of elasticity and I mean, I like those. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you've got the better physique for that than me. I prefer the baggy ones. Just let's hide this, let's keep it away from people.
Yeah, I can understand that.
You spoke about the Bernabeu being one of your favourite stadiums to play in. Real Madrid.
Of course. Yes, I mean, what to say. All white, and then Calm, of course, was the sponsor at that time. That was also a dream coming true, going to play for Real Madrid. And beautiful outfit. This was actually when I was in the youth. I remember we played against Real Madrid, and we saw those shirts and we loved, this type of patterns.
Like the paw print, it's really unique, really cool, very different.
Yeah, because it was different. I think Calme did it for a while properly. And then, what a club.
I was going to say, how is it? I can't imagine there's any way you can describe when you get the call to be like, Real Madrid are interested. How do you even process that information?
Well, the funny story is that when I was 15, I was called to go to Madrid, and my parents declined that to just finish my school, and I was of course in a great club.
Of course.
In the youth, and so we said, if it has to happen, it will happen somewhere in the future, and it came a bit earlier than anybody expected. So that was amazing. So it's those moments where you realize, that playing outside your country where you grew up is such a difference, and there are new elements that you're learning. And this was for me really the consolidation, especially the first year, to be in the top of Europe, outside of Ajax.
Yeah. I was speaking more about that. We can go through to being at the top of Europe. The final in '98, getting the second Champions League. I guess being at the top of Europe again must have been like, I've got a bit of this competition. Might be for me.
One of my favorite shirts.
Yeah, the Sony mini disc sponsor. Yeah,
they wouldn't say the same, because Juventus has been a target for me in my career. With all the respect for the club, amazing club, of course. But I won 2 finals against Juventus in my career. And I scored most of my goals. This is the club that I scored most goals against as well. So I have very good memories when it comes to these colors.
Speaking about the past, and people keep saying the San Siro is never, for Milan, San Siro is never going. It's going to be there forever. People keep saying, soon it'll go. It's never going. The San Siro is here forever.
Well, it seemed like it, because it's been like 30 years I talked about creating a new stadium, but it's not coming. So you might be right.
I want to talk about do you remember the incredible goal you scored against Atleti for Real Madrid? It was about 40 yards, right?
Yeah, that was quite a distance, and it was the first match of the season. It was the first goal outside of the box. And there was a particular, surprise that came with it, because the first goal outside the box had a sponsor. And there was a wine sponsor, so I received 250 boxes.
Boxes of wine?
So you can imagine, it was 250, it was 250 wines in total. I don't know how many boxes it was a lot. I don't drink.
I was going to say, you probably still, even if you did drink, you probably still have them.
Well, I had to pull out a lot of parties, just give them away and serve them. But there was a funny thing. So it was the first goal outside the box, had a sponsor. So I celebrated, and one day before my first child was born. So it was a special.
Yeah, that is phenomenal. What a memory that is.
Days, yeah.
That is so cool. Is there any of these Real Madrid shirts that I would like? I think you've got an Ajax shirt. I think Real Madrid. Is there any of the shirts there that really stand out to you of being one that you loved playing in?
Yeah, later on, of course, I think we had a certain point when Adidas came in.
Yeah.
That's where the shirts got also
a bit of an evolution from Kelma.
Yeah. But the colors, because it's not. I mean, the white, all white, and then this fuchsia, this purple color. I mean, always beautiful.
So we'll come through here. We're moving on with your career now. Also, these you were lucky you never had, but these are talking about tight. Like, I could never wear this. Jeez, like, honestly, so tight with Kappa. It's so tight.
But it's nice. It's fitted.
Yeah, but it's fitted for you. Like, there's a difference of me and you. Moving on from Real Madrid, did you get the call? Did you fall in love with Italy the first time there at Sampdoria? So then, was it like a choice to go back to Italy because you loved the country so much, or was it just the club was so massive?
This opportunity. I mean, there were some okay players in Inter at that moment, like Ronaldo Fenomeno.
Yeah, okay, he was all right. He's okay.
You see, here we go. So, I mean, that was really a moment of saying, okay, where with a great coach, Marcelo Lippi, what is the next step? I wasn't supposed to leave Madrid, but there were some issues they needed to take care of, and I was good on the market. And so I choose Inter because of the players, the coach, the way I would be playing there. And of course, back to Italy. I mean, that was amazing, playing in San Siro. It was a good choice, even if it was a short experience, relatively short, 2.5 years, but great shot as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, what is it like when you first walk out at the San Siro as a player? It must be like, obviously you've done it twice for 2 different teams, both of the teams. It must be, I'm lucky enough to have been there myself as well. It's such a beautiful stadium, especially from the outside. But the atmosphere there, I imagine, is great.
It was iconic.
Yeah.
And the atmosphere, because I judge also stadium from when you're on the pitch.
Yeah.
What is the atmosphere like? And Bernabeu and San Siro are in Europe for me really where you feel, that atmosphere really strong.
Yeah. Are you someone that really do you believe that the fans really help drive players forward, or as you?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
There's energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, when there's good energy, you push it forward. But if it's bad energy, you can also bring it down. So, but generally, and you can see it still so strongly in Madrid now. Those crazy last minutes of matches. And
Yeah.
it's not luck anymore. This is just part of the whole package.
It's the culture, right?
It's the culture, it's the belief of the fans, and the pushing, the team to believe. Belief is such an important aspect.
I think England fans should listen to that, by the way. We are so negative, and we wonder why we never win. The most negative fan base in the world. It's like, stop being so negative.
I know, it's true. When I was working with BBC, I was mentioning this. I mean, the press and the fans. I mean, if you don't believe, really,
Yeah.
that is what you will get.
Of course.
It works like that.
It's the hope that kills you. It's a very British saying. We're so cynical. Anyway, from one side of Milan to the other, I'll let you stay that side. I'll come around here. You've got the move. You've gone through to Milan. It feels like one of them ones where you move from Inter to AC.
Yes.
It doesn't really feel like that was an issue. Like it's one of them rivalries where it feels like that's okay. Like you're still respected by Inter fans as well. Whereas, like for example, if you moved from Tottenham to Arsenal, there'd be a big problem with that. Did you find that at all?
No, I mean, I think also people understand if you have respected the shirt and some situations that you need to change. It happens. I never disrespected any club or any fans, even opponents and stuff, and I think that's pretty much key.
Yeah.
For people not to feel anything particular, and when you play for a club, you honor the shirt. That's what I think it's about, and if you leave gracefully, then there shouldn't be any problems. I've never had any issues either with Barcelona, because without Barcelona there's no classic.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So
it's a great point.
So you try to respect your opponents, and the same for Juventus or Inter. So absolutely.
Was it weird walking out like you move club? You obviously move city, you move stadium. Was it weird walking out at the same stadium for a new club and a new fan base?
I don't even think about those things really. It wasn't an easy choice because I wasn't really finished with Inter. We lost in the last match of the season, a league that was not won by I think 13 or 14 years, Scudetto. So I had a feeling I still need to finish something. So I took quite some time to make the decision to actually accept the offer of AC Milan, like 2.5 weeks. I had to digest the fact that I didn't succeed to get any silverware with Inter, but then also Ronaldo wasn't welcomed anymore by the coach. He wanted to change myself as well, and I said, why stay in a place where you're not welcomed anymore by the coach? He has other ideas. So, and on the other side you have Ancelotti and the club, wanting you and with a nice perspective. So this is what I did. I said, this is the club, this is the next step in my career, and I think it was
a slightly good decision. So you then make that move and miss the Champions League. You win your first, sorry, against Juventus. This man is just haunting you.
What to do?
Yeah. The only player still to have won the Champions League of 3 different clubs. Do you wear that as like a badge of honour? Because if I was you, I'd be like, hi, I'm Clarence, I've won the Champions League of 3 different clubs. Do you know anyone else who's done that? No one. I'd be like, that's me. That's how I'd be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm proud, of course, of that, and I definitely cherish it. And of course, you don't achieve these things alone. So I had great clubs, great teammates, and I brought my part during, my career for these clubs, and it was a great achievement that I definitely continue to hear regularly. And of course, when you have a record like this, it is special. Special because it's not an easy thing to do.
No, speaking of not achieving things alone, I don't know what your opinion on this is. Like with, for example, the Ballon d'Or now, I think too much emphasis is put on the Ballon d'Or. For example, Kaká won a Ballon d'Or, but he won the Ballon d'Or because he had yourself in the team and there was a fantastic team around him. Like, I think teams win Ballon d'Ors more so than just individuals.
It is. But that's why, and that was really a feeling I had. You mentioned Kaká. when he won the Ballon d'Or, I felt I was part of that.
Of course, yeah.
Because like many colleagues of mine, of course, because you were so close, so you were, and you're happy for your teammate. At least I was happy for him to win it. And it is true. Even individual prizes are part of a team effort. That has always been. And generally, the players that win, they always recognize it and acknowledge, the teams and the clubs. And yeah, you might be right. The criteria sometimes change.
Of course.
Is it scoring goals? Is it playing well? But I think the most important is what you mentioned, is that at the end, the team elevates the individual. So
of course,
that is the beauty of the game.
And the season Kaká won his Ballon d'Or, I think was maybe one of your best. You had a phenomenal season that season as well, right?
Yeah, I mean we all had a great season. We ended up for the UEFA, I think Champions League awards. We had best midfielder, striker, defender. We had it all. Maldini, myself, and Kaká. So yeah, I mean that. Those moments are special because you work very hard as a team to reach certain levels, and then the acknowledgement comes from the outside. I mean,
yeah,
everybody likes that.
All right, I believe this is one of your favourite games you played was against Manchester United. Yes. Obviously got this man on the back, but you scored as well, right?
We scored with an assist, and yeah, Manchester is another of the targets. I think between Juventus and Manchester, I think we had good experiences playing against these clubs, and yeah, it was a great. We had actually 2 years, but the semi-final where we lost in the first leg, and then we won 3-0 in the second one. Special club, great respect, amazing players. So one team is better, the club is better, the satisfaction is so much more.
Yeah, of course, I imagine. Yeah. So the first Champions League final, I mean, we'll have to be, as an English, we have to talk about this club because obviously two famous finals against them. First Champions League final I remember was Porto-Monaco. So I remember Porto were so far ahead. The next year, you guys are 3-0 up at half time. I'm like 7. I go to bed. I wake up in the morning, my dad goes to me, Liverpool won. I was like, what do you mean Liverpool won?
Yeah.
Was there like the shell shock for you as players, or did you know?
Well, you mentioned the year of Porto against Monaco. That year actually we were supposed to go all the way, and then we won 4-1 at home against Deportivo La Coruña, and then we lost 4-0. And we went out. That was the year that Milan was absolutely kicking it.
Yeah.
So that was also the motivation in next year going in. And then we ended up losing that crazy final. What to say, destiny. Not a great club, great history in the Champions League. It was supposed to be, because people asked what happened. I said, we don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, we came out after 3-0, we had great chances, and then there was, this crazy save from the goalkeeper with Shevchenko. And then in 6 minutes, we got 3 goals, and nobody knows how that all happened. And then by penalty kicks. But this is football. This is people remember that match as one of the best finals to watch. We try to cancel it sometimes in our thoughts, but it's part of the game. And then the next year, of course, I think 2 years later, actually, we got back in the final. What
people want to talk about with that penalty shootout is Dudek, the Liverpool goalkeeper, is so far off of his line for every penalty. So his line is here. He stood about 4 yards off it for each penalty. It's crazy. But obviously, redemption.
Different times,
yeah.
Different times.
Redemption came round, and then you did obviously beat them again for your 4th Champions League title. That is just crazy. It must have been such a nice feeling to get that win back.
Yeah, it was a sweet revenge in that sense, and I think our team really deserved, and actually we should have won maybe one more with that team, one more Champions League, but we can't complain.
And then there's another one I want to talk about. Am I right in believing you're friendly with Didier Drogba?
Yes, of course.
And I believe you both wanted to sometimes play for each other's clubs during your careers at certain times?
Yeah, well, I almost went to Chelsea. He almost came to Milan. It never happened.
Yeah. Yeah. You nearly went to Chelsea, Chelsea, Arsenal, and is Liverpool as well? Right?
Manchester.
Chelsea, Manchester United, and Arsenal. Was there a reason they just fell through? Just how football works, right?
No, I mean, you can just play for one, and the choices went more to Italy at that point. Italy obviously was a very strong league, the best league in the world in those days. So it never really worked out. I would have loved to play in England, but in life you say you cannot have everything. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Seedorf 10.
Yes.
I always saw you as a number 10. Is that how you saw yourself?
Oh yeah, I mean, I grew up as a number 10 in the youth. Then I started to play different positions in my career because I had that capability to cover more positions. When I started as a 16-year-old, I started as a right back.
Yeah.
And then I even played left back and central defender, and then I went up, and then I had right winger, left winger, striker. I've done it pretty much all. And that made me, of course, play a lot of matches early in my career. But in the youth, as I mentioned, I was a striker or a number 10.
Obviously, World Cup semi-finalists in '98, 2 Euro semi-finals. Like, was there ever the World Cup '98 in particular is such an iconic tournament. Obviously, with Ronaldo, the whole stuff that went on with him there. Was there a point when you get to a World Cup semi-final, are you dreaming at that point, or is it just you take every round by round?
Well, you go around and you just grow into the tournament. I mean, '98 has been a great run, but not enough, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately we haven't had many other experiences with the national team on the big tournaments, but that was a special tournament for sure in '98.
The move from European players to South America, the only ones that really stand out are yourself and then Daniele De Rossi moved to Boca Juniors. Like, what was it? I'm sure you had other offers other than Botafogo in Brazil. Like, why there? Why was the choice there?
Well, you're looking for a challenge, a club that wanted to grow. Brazil had been part of my youth, and practically Brazil was the national team for Suriname. Suriname doesn't really have at any moment of a national team that could compete on high level. So, in being neighbors, I grew up watching Brazil, and then of course the Netherlands. These were the two nations that we would follow, and then my connection with Brazil has always been pretty tight with all the Brazilians. We've always had great friendships, so it was great to be in the country of football, right? It was considered by I think most of the people in the world with the crazy talents that have been around for the last decades, and to experience it with a club, you know, the daily life and the whole league and all the challenges that comes with it, because it's pretty challenging. The calendar, it's a big country. You fly to the north, it's 4 hours flying, then it's 45 degrees. You need to go back 3 days later, and we had a sequence of 43 matches in a row every 3 days. Yeah, it was an amazing experience.
I remember when you moved there was the viral image of you where you looked in incredible shape. Do you remember, were you aware of that image going around at the time? Yeah. If that's me, I'm gonna be like... So I think during the shoot, you picked out this one as being the favourite of the 3 you've had. So should we get you to try this one on?
Yes.
And then we'll get you checked out.
We can do that.
Let's do it. Come on then. Yes, it's good to see. I love that. What a club.
Shorts, socks, all white.
Iconic.
Can go wrong.
Kelmer as well. Nice. Well, let's get you changed. Let's get you checked out. Thank you so much. There we go.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for getting involved. Loved it.
Sure.
Absolutely, just one of the best midfielders of all time. So thank you so much for coming on to this series. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
And also, one of you can win a £50 voucher for classic football shirts. So all you have to do is like this video, subscribe, and comment what Clarence Seedorf's best purchase was. I've been Ellis, and I'll see you very soon for more shirt shopping and more away days. Ciao, ciao. Bye.